Hello everyone and good day to you wherever you are in the world. Now today I'm going to show you a music app that I've put together. Now I'm going to show you that you can download it, I'm going to show you how to play it and so on. Now to just give you an idea of why I wanted to put this video together here, I had a call from Nate Chamberlain. Now he contacted me on Twitter and he was asking me whether or not I could create something for his Christmas advent calendar. So it's a bit like every day you open something and then you get this little prize. So this is the prize, by the way. And so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you how you can use the app to and in this case you can use it for Christmas carols, but in reality you can use it for any kind of music. So it's really, well, arguably scalable. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to show you how you can download and install it, so you can just jump straight to that if you want to. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the same app with some new songs. So I'm going to show you how you can get your Excel spreadsheet, grab some songs from somewhere else and update it just using a bit of Excel wizardry. And then finally, I'm actually going to show you how you can build the app from scratch from the Excel spreadsheet, because I actually think that's quite a good learning experience. So I don't quite know how long this video will take. I'm thinking the demo will probably take about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. The download and install, maybe that's another 5 minutes or something. Updating with new songs, about 5 minutes. Building from scratch, I'm thinking that's probably going to take more towards 10-15 minutes, but it's pretty good anyway. So you can sort of dig into any of those bits as you choose, and I'll make sure that you can jump to the relevant section in the video. So let us now dive into taking a look at this app. So here is the app. It is pretty simple. I've got a little splash page that allows you to navigate to different bits and pieces that will be apparent why they're useful later on. But essentially, there's a splash page, and we can move on to choosing a song. And there's actually there's a combination of some Christmas songs and some other songs that I put in there. But the cool thing here is that, so there's the little drummer boy here. So if I click on that thing there, you can actually see it's actually only got 3 chords. And what you can see is you've got the chord on the screen, and then you've got when you should play it and so on. Now the thing to know on this, when you should play it, it doesn't work perfectly. So for example, Come They Told Me, Pa-Ra-Pa-Pum-Pum, the C chord doesn't come in at exactly that point. But the reason why I did it was because my route to getting the data in there is like really arguably kind of thin. It takes absolutely no time at all for me to get this data in there. But the downside of that is it's not exactly lined up. But ultimately, what it really means is that you know that chord that you need to play. Now, I did initially use this so that you could actually play it on the guitar. Now my guitar is over there and it's completely not tuned at the moment. But what I found was that you could actually I could put the data into GitHub and do some quite cool things. So these images that you're looking at on the screen are actually in GitHub. So if you actually look on here, I can actually flick between whether or not I want it to be left-handed, because my boss, Greg Hawthorne at work, he is left-handed. I hadn't even thought about it being left-handed. So you can flick between left-handed and right-handed. And the really cool thing here is that you can actually play the chord. So let's see if that actually works. So now I'm just going to stop that for a second, because I want to make sure that this sound is actually coming through. So I've worked out the sound is actually coming through my microphone, which is good. So the idea here is that you can play any of these songs. So for example, this is the Little Drummer Boy, and it's actually quite high. So I'm going to do Jingle Bells instead. So I click on Jingle Bells, and okay, fine. So it's, just check that. Okay. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. So that gives you an idea of this. I'm not going to do all the songs, but as you can see, yes, you can use it for Christmas songs, but you can also use it for any songs really. I have done American Pie. It's quite long actually, but as you can see with American Pie, a lot more chords in here. But they kind of work. So not all the chords, I believe, all the images are in there, weirdly enough, but I haven't actually played all the chords. So just check if that one's there. Yeah. So here we go. I'm just going to do it with the American Pie. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how the music used to make me smile. There you go. So that gives you an idea of how this app actually works. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to switch over and I'm going to show you how to download and install this app. This particular app is completely standalone. It just looks at Excel, and the Excel is effectively inside the app anyway. So what I'll do is I will download the app, show you how to install it, and then what we'll do is we'll see how you can actually update the songs that are inside the app. And I actually think that's a really cool thing that you can do with this app. So I will see you very shortly. So before we go too much further, what I'm going to show you here is this is the course that I put together. In fact, there's quite a few courses that I put together on Canvas apps. There are absolutely loads of lessons here. I think there are 300 lessons on how to build Canvas apps, and the one we're going to build today is super simple, so don't worry too much about that. But there are absolutely loads and loads of courses, lots of testimonials and so on. So yeah, there's a great load of material there. But what we're going to do now is I am going to jump over to an incognito window because I want to just do it from your perspective. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do, let's just get rid of these bookmarks, and not show them. Oh, never mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to GitHub. So github.com. Then I'm going to search for Power Apps for Kids, because I put this together as a kids thing. So this is, and inside there you've got the projects. I'll actually put the links down below, and I actually initially called this thing Guitar Hero. It just, well, I know it's from one of the PlayStation games, but I just called it Guitar Hero anyway. And then what you can see inside there is you've got your Guitar Hero Canvas XLS MS app. So I did actually create it as a there's an Excel version of it effectively, as well as a whole model-driven app version of it. But anyway, this is quite good fun. So the idea is you click on here, you can actually see that, and then what you do is you click download, and as you can see, it's absolutely tiny, this thing. There's almost nothing in it. And what I'll do now is I am just going to go to, let's just go to my downloads folder. I will call it Guitar Hero Canvas app. Let's just call it demo, and then click enter on there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift back to make.powerapps.com. So head over to make.powerapps.com, and we will then go to, I always find it kind of interesting trying to get to this bit where you create it. So because it's an MS app, the easiest way is to just click on it, create a kind of dummy app. I'll call it test. In fact, it doesn't really matter which, you just choose your environment up on the top right hand side. I've got quite a lot to choose from. I am just going to put it into this sandbox environment here, and then what I'll do is I'll go create, go Canvas app, just call it test, because we're not really going to actually create this app anyway. It just gets us to the right screen. we can then go to File and then go Open and then navigate to our app. So it'll just whiz around here just for a moment. Then we go to File and then we go to Open and then we go to Browse. So I would recommend you kind of follow along here, and then I'm going to go up to my Downloads folder and I can see this Demo MS app app here, and I can click Open on there, and I'll say don't save on that. That's kind of good enough for me. And this is just it's a really easy way of doing this. So yeah, I wasn't expecting this, but I will go leave on that. But you know, this is, I think that what may have happened was the download was done with one version of Power Apps, and we are now in a new version of Power Apps. And this is actually rather interesting because it's been a little bit silly. So I'm going to go to Open and I'm going to browse because it's still not actually opened it. Click Open on that. I have unsaved changes. I'm going to say don't save. And we should find our app actually starts to come in. Okay, so we've now got the app. That's as simple as it is to actually bring that app in. So what will I do now? Well, I guess, look, at the end of the day, you know, you can, at this point, you can kind of see the app work and you can move bits and pieces around. Maybe this needs to be, you know, maybe we can, you know, pop these things together, right click on them, align, and then distribute vertically just to make it a little bit neater. Now, the background, the background on this isn't perfect. You can change all that sort of thing. It's a very simple app. In fact, I haven't even spent a lot of time on the you know, naming conventions and so on. There's almost nothing in it. I can hit the play on there. I can go to choose song, and then here we go. We've actually got the app, and we can then flick between left-handed and right-handed, all those weird and wonderful things. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to add a new song into this, and that is really cool. So I'm going to hit my back button on here, and well, actually clicked Excel Songmaker. Now, I think this is going to take me to GitHub. It is going to take me to GitHub, and what this is going to do is it's actually going to, it's a little spreadsheet that I've put together that allows me to get my data effectively. So I'm going to click download on that. It's going to download an Excel spreadsheet for me. I'm just going to shove that into my downloads folder, which is probably where you'll put it. So I click save on that. And then what I'll do is I'll double click on it, open up Excel, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So here we go, double click on the spreadsheet. It's going to fire my spreadsheet up. It's actually firing up on a different screen. So I'm just going to move that onto the screen for you to see. And I'm going to show you how to make best use of this. So I'll just give you a bit of a warning. It is a Sunday morning here, so there may be some crashing around going on. So if you actually look on here, I've got my song lines here. This is what the app, well, the app doesn't strictly speaking look at this, but this is the data source for my app here. Now I am just going to put enable editing because I definitely want to be able to edit things on there. And we can see there's actually a lot of songs on there. So these are all the songs that we've seen already. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new song in here. And the way in which we're going to do that is, let me just go to Now Song Prep. So you need to get a tabs.ultimateguitar.com. So I'm just going to jump onto a different screen, see if I can do that. Okay. So tabs.ultimateguitar.com. I think on the app itself, I actually put a little navigation to Ultimate Guitar that should take us there as well. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I am just going to go and find I'm just going to find another song. Now it could be anything, but as it's a let's see, I'll do two. I'll do one will be a Christmas one and one will not be a Christmas one. So I'll put Ding Dong Merrily on High. Click on here. Then what we'll see is there's a few versions of it. Always go for the version which has actually got the highest rating. So you click on there. And then you kind of see these are all the bits and pieces that you need. Now, this one, I probably don't have, for example, D sus4. So if you have a D, you know, just choose D instead. And then all I do with that is I just grab it like this. Now hold on, you have to be really specific here. So I am going to grab this down here, copy that, copy plain text. I'm going to tab back onto Excel, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to do paste special into there, and I'm actually going to, on the yellow bit, I'm going to put ding dong merrily on high, and then click enter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a refresh all. So I'm going to go to data, and then I'm going to go refresh all, because what that's going to do is actually going to in fact, I'll just do one refresh here, and what that will do is it'll push it into this area here. So what I'm now do is I am going to do refresh. I'll go OK on that. And what it will do is it'll do some kind of, it will do some Power Query work, and it will actually push the update into this new song formatted area. So there we are, Ding Dong Merrily High, In Heaven Bells Are Ringing, brilliant. And then that's my song, but the place it needs to go is in here, okay? So all you need to do is get a new song formatted, click that, copy that, grab that, move on to song lines, head over down to the bottom, and click on paste. Now what I also am going to do is, because I've done a little bit of cleverness here, I've got a little table that builds itself from this screen, and the way in which that builds itself is you essentially, if you click on it and you kind of go to data and you go refresh, that will actually update. So what we'll see is if I click refresh on here, you see the chords for the specific chords for Ding Dong Merrily and High will come in. So that's a Christmassy song. I'm kind of go for a non-Christmassy song. So how about a bit of Elton John? No, put Your Song, Elton John. Okay, there's Your Song. Don't go for the one which says high quality. Go for the one with the highest rating. Click on Your Song. And then what you can do is, yeah, there's loads of chords that in reality I don't have at all. So just be a bit careful with that. And there'll be some oddities in here that will make life difficult for me anyway. So I will just grab that. So it's quite a good example of a difficult one. Go to copy plain text, jump back. Oops, I need to go onto the spreadsheet, then go on to new now song prep, and then I'm going to put paste that in there. Now what we'll probably see is that when we go onto this new song formatted, and if you click on it and then go refresh, what you might see is some oddities, and you can see that, well, actually says Ding Dong Merrily and High for starters. So if I go onto this, I'll put Your Song, click enter on there, back onto new song formatted, and then click refresh. You can see it's slightly out, and that is because it's kind of chords first and words afterwards. So I've just popped the word intro afterwards, and then what we should find is that I can actually go onto there and I can go on to refresh again. I think you can just click this refresh here. Yeah, so you can see intro, etc. Copy, go on to song lines, and paste in there. And then what we need to do is we need to whiz over to the song chord, and what we should be able to do is go click refresh on there. One thing that's cool on this, by the way, is it actually tells you the chords that are used the most. So you can see in Your Song the D chord is used 20 times, the G chord is used 15 times, and the A chord is used 10 times. And I'll use that for sorting purposes later on. So that is how, well, we're close, we're pretty close now. So what I can do is do file, and then I will do save. Then what I need to do is jump back to the app, and I'm going to re-import this into the app. So let's just jump back to the app, because that was why we were doing this. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need you anymore. And now I'm in my app, and if that's the wrong one, need to make sure I'm on the right screen. So this is the right one here, and I now need to go to my data source. So I can click on the left hand side here, and in fact the only way of getting the data sources in is to actually delete the data sources and then re-import them. So I'm just going to go remove, and you'll get some errors. Remove again, so you can see the errors on the top right hand side. Then what you can do is to go to add data and then type in Excel. Then what you do is you go to import from Excel, and what it wants me to do is to tell it the name of a spreadsheet, and it's looking at the one that we've just updated. So I'm looking on my screen. I can see it's literally updated a moment ago, and I can click OK on that, and then it's going to ask me for the two tables that are required, and it's actually song chords and song lines. Click connect, and what we should find now is if we go on to choose song, we should find that we've actually got Your Song and Ding Dong Merrily on high. I think that is really cool. So let's just check Your Song. Yeah, it's a little bit funny. You see, it won't really work amazing well because I haven't actually got the A C sharp chord. You can actually see that I haven't actually got the image for it and so on. So I mean, let's be honest, there are thousands of chords and so on. So I think what I'll do is I'll maybe just pop my email in so that you can just say, hey Rory, I need this chord or that chord, and then it could be updated for you, and then all that would work. So we've now got a working app, but how do we even make it? Well, actually, there's not a lot to it, if I'm brutally honest. A lot of the hard work was in getting the data, but actually composing the app is relatively straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to build this from scratch. I'm quite looking forward to this because I believe it's going to be straightforward. Whether or not it is or not is a completely different matter. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to just literally straight close it. I don't need this app here. I'm going to click don't save on it because I don't need it. And I'm just going to stay in this environment, and I'm going to do create, and I'm going to go canvas app from blank. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it, I'm going to call Guitar Hero Demo, and I'm going to go create on that. I will do it as a 2-screen app. I always think it's nice to have that initial that opening experience and the second page. So I'm just going to do insert new screen blank, and then what we'll do, we'll call this SCR landing. Now, in reality, you're probably best calling it something like landing screen from accessibility point of view, but you will find that this will be easy to work through. So I'm now going to call the second screen. It's going to be I'm going to call it SCR songs, something like that. What am I going to do on the landing screen? Well, I need a background image, and in fact I am going to cheat my way to get myself an image here, and I'm actually going to go to this Power Apps for Kids thing off to Guitar Hero because I know that I've stuck an image in here. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to just go onto this Christmas one here. So there's my Christmas image, and if you go to click on the download thing, then that's what I need. This is the really, really important bit of this. So just make sure that you actually click down the download. It doesn't actually download it, but what it does do is it does give you the URL that you need. So just go onto the URL, right click, copy, go onto Power Apps, and then what we can do is, and we can, on the background image, we can go in there, do quote, Control V, quote, and then what you can do on there is you can then say, well, actually I'm going to fill that, and now what we can do is we can now put a button on the screen. I'm going to keep it really simple though, and I'm just going to say show songs, something like that, show songs. And you might put something, you'd probably put something at the top, which would be maybe a label which sort of said, Guitar Hero, whatever it is. my songs, something like that. As you can see, I'm not feeling very creative at the moment. And maybe bump this up to something like 50 and make the color just go onto there and then make it white. So that'll give us my songs app. And then on the show songs, what we're going to do is on the launch part of that. No, it's on the on select. Go onto there, and we'll do. It's not launch. It's going to be navigate. You can actually go to the action button. You can go to navigate, and it'll actually direct you to SCR songs, and you can tell it whether or not you can fade it or not. All it's really doing is just putting in a little bit, a bit of a formula into that particular object, and what that means is we can then go on to the songs, and you end up on this page here. And what you can do is you can then, what I quite like to do is I quite like to, let's put a background image, and we will just go on to the background image, and we'll do the same again. And we'll just go fill on that, but this time round what we'll do is we will insert a text label in there, make it absolutely enormous, and then what we're going to do is get rid of the text on there, but make the filled property of this, I think if I let me do it as 0.7, yeah, make it a bit better than that, make it 0.6, something like that. So we kind of got a bit of a, bit of a thing going on here. It kind of looks nice. Now, the only problem with this is that you will find that you'll be constantly clicking on the label. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, for the purposes of being able to work with this to begin with, I'm just going to pop that down there, and I'll put it back in at the end. So what we need to now do is we need to now go and get our data. So we're going to go to data, same as what we've done before, add data, type in there, Excel, and there we've got import from Excel. We're going to go and find the songs themselves, click open on that, that's our spreadsheet, and we're going to have song chords, song lines. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, nothing's going to happen. It's just the data is in there. And if we wanted to, we could go over to the other screen. So we go insert, new screen, blank. We don't need to do this, but what if I wanted to know what was in there? Quite a cheats way of doing it, doing that is by just create a data table and then go and edit fields, then do add field. And you can just add, you can add the fields in, and it's a kind of cheats way of getting to see all the data. So you can actually see what's going on in there. So that's yeah, I can see what's going on there. But what we're going to do is we are now going to do a little bit of jiggery pokery. So I'm just going to go onto the tree view, back onto the songs page. Then what I need is a gallery on the left hand side. So I'm going to do a gallery. It's going to be a vertical gallery, and we're going to pop it on the left hand side, and it's going to be based on, well, actually, I'll do it based on the song chords because there's less data in the song chords. And so what you can see is there's too much in there. So what I'm going to do is I just want the distinct songs. You can actually see I'm getting too many lines because it's got all of the song chords. So I'm going to say distinct song chords. And then it's going to say, well, actually, which field do you want out of this? I'm going to say, well, actually, I want the field. And then what that's going to produce is like a table. And then we just type in result at the end. And then effectively all we're going to get out of that is the names of the songs that we've got. It's defaulting to a particular color of text at the moment. And so I'm going to do is, let's just go onto here and then change this and just make it title. So that'll help. And then what I'm going to do is, just because I want to cheat my way to making this okay, I'm just going to look at the theme and I'm just going to make it this theme here. Which will change some things around, but a lot of them, I just wanted some white text. Every time I bring in the different things, it'll have white text on it now, and what that means is that later on it'll look much more like this, which is a bit closer to what I'm looking for. I'm going to go on to this next arrow. There's no real reason for me to use a next arrow. And sometimes you don't really need, I could do a search facility on there, but I'm not too fussed about that at the moment. And what I do like to do is I do like to have, I'm just going to pop a little label in there. So do insert, and I'm going to do insert label. It's going to pop that in there and go over there. That's fine. And I'm going to take the text off. I don't need that because what I need that to do, what I want to do is I want to change the fill property of this. So I'm going to do go onto this and remove that, and then what I'm going to do is fill, and then I will do if this item dot is selected, then I'll say it's light grey. Otherwise transparent, close the brackets, and then actually what you need to do is, in order for this to work, then that label needs to be reorder sent to the back. But then what you kind of find is that the text isn't very good if it's done that way. So I'm going to go on to this title field here, and then I'm going to do the color property, and I'm going to say, well, if this item dot is selected, then black, otherwise white. And then click that, and then what you'll see is that as we select on these things, we move from black to white. So that's quite a nice little thing here. I probably ought to make this quite a bit smaller, and I think that that's kind of strange that the size of the text is a bit odd. What you can see here is, oh come all you faithful. Yeah, it's because the text field isn't very big. So I'm just going to make that a bit bigger. So that looks fine now, and I'll drop this down a little bit. And what we're going to do is across the top, we're going to do something with chords, and we also need to do gallery on the right hand side with the actual lines themselves. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to pop in that gallery on the right hand side, gallery, vertical, and then we do song lines, but we don't really want the song lines like that, and we definitely don't want it with an image. So I'm just going to click on title, and then what I'm going to do is in this field here, it's this item. Well, actually, weirdly enough, I do need the line chords. And I'm going to do insert a label there, and the label is going to read this item dot song. I think it's song line. Yeah, that is the right one to do. So I'll put that in there. But the thing is that it's not going to change as we move across, and so we're going to fix that now. I am going to now. Actually, I'm not sure where my little label has disappeared. It's gone so small that you can't actually see it. So size, make it sort of 40, and I'll put my Y location of 40. That's very odd. Yeah, I think I've done something really strange with this this thing here. That's better. That's better. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure it's actually going to behave itself. Now, you just have to be careful that you don't click on it. So I'll make you nice and big. You can go to the top, and now I can sort of see it's okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And what I'll do is make this bigger. I will get rid of this thing here, and I don't even know if I need this separator at the moment. I'm just going to delete the separator, and probably make the text a little bit bigger. Let's make that I don't know, let's make it 18, say. Okay, and I definitely need to make the text a bit wider. It needs to run in one big long line, so that's okay. Move that down there, drag across a little bit, and that's kind of okay. But we do have an issue with the items. The items need to be filter song lines where the song equals, and this is where you probably need to start naming things correctly. So this gallery one needs to be gal songs. and that means that on our items we can go filter song lines, where song equals gal songs, dot selected, and it'll be dot result, because it's a little table that we use using distinct that gives us result, and then close the brackets. So that shows you now that what we can do is when we can click on Hey Jude, we actually get Hey Jude coming up. So we are nearly there. We're nearly there with this. It's definitely not perfect, but I can see there's some formatting type things that I'd consider doing differently. Potentially, maybe make that italics or something like that. I'm probably just so that there's a distinction. Maybe the color of them is slightly different, but bearing on whether or not it's whether or not it's the chords you're telling people about, or whether or not it's the song lines. But now we actually have a very interesting bit to do. And so what I'm going to do is to illustrate this, I'm going to go onto screen, this one, which is called screen 1. I'm going to delete this data table, data delete, and then what I'm going to do is insert a data table, pop a data table in, and I'm going to show you the song chords table, go onto the edit fields, then do add field, and then do chord song, and then add on that. And what we can see is that we have got, this is American Pie, which is a bit complicated, but Hey Jude is a lot simpler. You can see that you got 41 Ds, you got 8 As, 13 A7s, and essentially we have got a table with the chords that we need. So what that means is that when we go back to the songs screen, what I can do is I can do insert, but this time we're going to do a gallery, which is a horizontal gallery. So gallery, and I'm going to go horizontal on that. And I now want to make it not tight. I don't want an image. I'm just going to make it a blank one. Move up all the way here. It does get a little bit confusing when you've got these blank galleries. Move over here. And you can just see that I can go onto this thing here. And what I want to do is I want to put in, well, for starters, I want to put in a label, but we're not actually connected to any data. So what we now need to do is we need to click on song chords. So now what you can see is that let's just see if we can bring this in. So I'm going to drag that in, which is literally telling us every chord that exists in every single song. And you'll actually see that there's kind of duplicates going on there as well. But actually what we want to do is we want to do filter song chords, where the song, and same as before, equals gal song dot selected dot result, and then close the brackets. So now we've only got the ones that are relevant to that specific song. So those ones are in Hey Jude, and we should be able to sort this. So we should be able to sort it in order of the most popular ones. Sort it by the chord count. And it's going to be descending. So the most popular chord is going to be on the left hand side. And in fact, we can actually see, if we wanted to, we would be able to see how many, if I do a copy and paste on that and I do chord count, we'd actually be able to see that D is used 41 times, G is used, and that, in fact, you actually jump around them. Little Drummer Boy, you can see it's all done in perfect order. So at the end of the day, if you want to get good at these chords, you need to be better at G, and on Hey Jude, you need to be better at D, and so on. But now we've got to work the magic in terms of getting the actual, the image on the screen. And it is arguably complicated. But ultimately what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go over to GitHub and just get any image. Well, pretty well any image. So I'm going to go onto here and I'm going to go to github.com. Then I'm going to go to, now I need to just go onto the main screen here. I actually don't want that at all. So I'm just going to sign out of this. And then what I'm going to do is do Rory Neary, should find me there, Now where is Rory Neary? There he is, repositories. Then what we're going to do is go to media, then we go to music chords, and then we're just going to go and grab any one of these chords. So I'm just going to grab A. Now we know it's an image, and I'm going to click on download on that, and it should pull it up on the screen. So I'm now going to copy this, and then I'm going to put it on the screen. So let me just go back to my app. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do insert media image, and then I'm going to do quote, paste, quote, and it basically is going to show me lots of A's. But what we're going to do is we are going to do we need to actually make it so it's ampersand, and it's going to be this item dot chord ampersand quote, and then delete the A and put another quote in there. And what you'll actually see now is they are actually jumping around accordingly. Now what you will find is that if they are complex chords, like for example in American Pie, DF sharp is actually written inside there as DF sharp, then it's not going to find it. So if you actually look onto GitHub and then move back and then go back again, I kind of wanted to make it as simple as I could. So for example, there's df sharp .png, and you know that's so if you actually click on that, it ends up with a really weird URL. And so what I'm going to do on that is I just at the bottom, just make sure you actually look at the code that I'm going to put in there, because it took me ages to work it out, but you can see it's actually df%23, and so there's like a substitution process that I have to go through in order to get that to come through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto there, and I'm going to go on to edit this one, because this is the one that I did before. And so all I'm going to do is just grab that, do a copy paste of it, and then that will mean that all of the chords actually work. So I'm going to jump on there. This is the here's one I prepared earlier one, gone to the choose song one, and then I'm going to click on there, and I'm just going to do copy, and I am going to paste that in on my app. This is the app that we're in the middle of making. So what we should find is, yeah, I actually did another thing where I did a toggle to do with whether it's left and right, and I'm not going to bother with that, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Sorry for the left-handers out there. And do and. So that is looking a bit better, but weirdly enough, it's still not perfect. So not entirely sure why. In fact, I do know why. I know why, and the reason is because with these specific chords, they're actually there, but you can't properly see them because they've got a transparent background. So what I'm going to do is onto there, I'm just going to do insert and then go label, pop a little label in there. I'm actually going to send that label to the back. I don't want any text on it, but I do want a fill, and go onto there and just going to make that white. It's going to cover everything, but actually going to right click on that, reorder it, and then send it to the back. And you can actually see the chord has actually gone in there correctly. I've no idea what this NC is. I think it's an accidental one that's come via the data, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So actually, if I jump on there, I can click on the different things, and now they are working. So we have one more thing to do in this. Well, one more thing. We could pop a little back button in if we wanted to. So pop a little back button in. They're always nice. So insert. Let's do plus, and I'll do icon. Now, weirdly enough, you have to get to icon by doing add icon, and if you go there and you type in back, then you get a back icon, and then on select, I'll just do back, and then do open brackets. Oops. I'll do back, open brackets, close brackets, and that means that we can get onto this page here. So show songs, and then the final thing is that we want to actually get it to play the chord. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go on to media, and I'm going to go and put well, do you know what, this, I ought to know this, so let's put it in audio. Exactly, audio, that's perfect. That's all I need, but it's not actually going to play the right audio at the moment, and what I need to do is I need to do an on select of this to make it actually play it. So what I need to do is on select, and I'm going to do set GV. Now I'm going to cheat, and I'm actually going to go on to here, and I'm going to do on select. Oh wow, that is very special. So essentially I'm going to set it to be equal to, this is this business where the simple version of it doesn't have to worry about whether or not there are sharps and so on, and that was what was causing me a lot of problems. But what I'm going to do is let's just check. I can see that this field, this thing here is actually called, it is actually called audio 2, which is handy. And what I'm going to do is go back onto, oh, that is audio 2, of course it is. This one we called audio 1. I'm going to rename it to be audio 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on here and click on here, and I'm going to copy and paste. Now these formulas will be down further on down in the instructions, so you can just copy and paste these, and jump back on here, and I'm going to do on select, and I'm going to get rid of this bit in the middle here to do with the left and right. So there we are. I think that should do it. Yeah, so this will only work for right-handed players at the moment. So that hasn't got an error on it, which is a good start. And it still does this thing which is GV start and false and GV start true, and that is what you need to put onto the media control. So what we need to do, the media control, the media needs to be, let's have a look at this. It's GV chord. Okay, so the media is GV chord. So if we try and play that, it'll do absolutely nothing at the moment because we haven't clicked on anything. And what we can now do is we can now, well, actually, if we click on it, it will also not do anything, because if we actually click on it, it'll work, but it won't actually play. But what we need to do now is we need to set how this actually plays. And so if we go on to the start on here, then we should be able to just, I'm just going to check this. It'll be GV start, weirdly enough. So GV start, and yeah. So what you'll find on there is that when you click on it, it will actually play the chord. Hey, it's very good, isn't it? And that's kind of it. It's done. So I'm, how long did that, well, it did actually take a lot longer than I thought. It took me 27 minutes to make that app. But you know what? That's not a bad app to have made in 27 minutes. An app that genuinely works. Now, yeah, I'm happy. It's not, the UI isn't amazing or anything like that, but I am happy that we've gone through the things that we needed to go through. Phew, we've got to the end of this. I do wonder why I've not done a video for quite a while actually, and but this one's felt like it was worth it. So just as a recap of this session, we actually we saw that it was Nate Chamberlain that kind of kicked this off. I'd already done some work on it anyway, and so he kind of encouraged me to put this together for him. We did a demo of the app that was pretty straightforward to do. Then what I did was actually showed you how to download and install the app. Then we actually went through a process of actually updating the app with some new songs, which actually is quite interesting. I mean, much more technical than I kind of let on in that demo. And then finally, we built the app from scratch, and that took it took about half an hour in the end, but there's an awful lot of learning in that process, and I think it's quite a nice app. It's a really good fusion of the fact the app can give you things you didn't already have, but also the fact you've also got to work with the app to make it useful to you. Sing along with it, whatever it might be. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in future videos.